As audio engineers, we're constantly searching for that one tip, that one trick, that one plugin that's going to automatically take our mixes to the next level. The problem is that we just keep getting bombarded with all these plugin manufacturers that promise that their tool is it, and then they end up leaving us hanging short, you know? This video is going to help you determine if Auto-Tune is actually the one plugin manufacturer that has all the sauce you need to mix a song from start to finish. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyWayne.com, and this channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. Today is absolutely no different. I'm going to be checking out some plugins that are included with the Auto-Tune Unlimited package to see once and for all if this is the plugin manufacturer that can give us everything we need to actually mix a song from start to finish. Now, I've been on this search for a minute looking for the ultimate plugin manufacturer ever since whatchamacallit and them pulled the rug from up under us and had us really thinking and scrambling on, dang, why do we spend so much money, invest so much money in these plugin companies only for them to kind of control our work, right? Well, I've been recommending to all my students, all the Wavy Seals elites, that going with just one plugin manufacturer and also using the power of your stock plugins that are in your DAW could be a great solution to hedge against future changes in these plugin manufacturers' business models and all of that. I've recently been trying a bunch of different plugin manufacturers one by one to see if I can find the ultimate plugin manufacturer where I can mix a song from start to finish using just one plugin. So by the end of this video, I want y'all to tell me, was this a win or a fail, man? Did we actually accomplish the mission using only Auto-Tune plugins? Let's jump into the session and I'll show you what I've done, all right? So I've started this session off using several Auto-Tune plugins, and I'll just play against my better judgment, a sample of this song without any other plugins activated. So I'm going to just deactivate everything here that you see, just bypassing. You see all types of different plugins. I'm going to bypass everything so we can hear a sample of this raw before and after. And let's just mute all of these tracks here. And let's just listen to what we have in this session.
Talk to me nicer, don't talk it out. I just woke up to 60 minutes calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off. Cut them off, cut them off, cut them off. I just cut them off, cut them off. I just cut them off, cut them off, cut them off.
All right, now that was a little cringy and hard to listen to for me. But yeah, let's bring the plugins back in and take a listen to what it sounded like after I mixed this song entirely using Auto-Tune plugins. I'm gonna bring everything back in. Now, let's hear what we happen with Auto-Tune magic.
To me nicer, don't talk it out. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off. Cut them off, cut them off, cut them off, cut them off, cut them off. Cut them off, cut them off, cut them off. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
Now that sounds like a song that I could actually get with. You hear me? That sounds like a song I could ride to, man. Never mind my bars, you know what I'm saying? Put a thumbs up on this video if you like the bars. Put a thumbs up if you didn't. Thumbs up either way. All right. So let's break down what I've done in this session, starting with the 2-track beat that I got at the top here. Now, Auto-Tune recently, a couple years ago, actually, they dropped the Auto Key plugin, which is a plugin that you could put directly over any instrument track in your session, and it would determine the key and hopes that you would be using that to determine the key of the song in this session. Recently, they've upgraded this plugin. Now we have Auto Key 2, which gives us some major enhancements to this plugin that make it even more useful and more efficient whenever you're using it in a session. For one thing that I love that's new about this plugin is that you see I didn't even have to open this plugin up and play it in order for the key to be determined. You do that for the first time, and then it actually saves that key in the session. And then I can just hit send to auto-tune to send to any auto-tune plugins that I might have in my session. That's a major time save. You can even drag and drop files directly onto this plugin or load them up just like that in this plugin, or just manually set it as well and choose to send over to any auto-tune. The other key update that happened to this auto key plugin is that now you can actually determine the tempo of your audio file. So I use this just by playing a little bit of it. Let me just play a little bit of this beat. So I play a little bit of this beat, and as it's playing, auto-tune is automatically listening. I guess I gotta hit that listen button. It starts to listen to determine the key and the BPM of the song. Now, it just takes a few seconds to get this, a few bars to get it. And right now I get a BPM of 150 BPM. Now I typically don't want to use double time. I want to use half of that. So I hit that half button that they got right there, right? They got a little button that you can do halftime or ×2 to get back to the original. And that will give me the halftime BPM of 75 beats per minute like I'm using. Now, of course, having that BPM locked in is going to make your time-based effects like delay work well in time with the music, and also locking it into your session is going to make the edits go so much better and smoother as well. So I love that they implemented that. Otherwise, I would have to do some other techniques like identify beat or tap tempo, or even use another third-party plugin to determine the tempo when I was already using auto-tune. Having this built in is key. So I love the new features to the new auto key. Next up after that, after I got my tempo, I went over to start working on my lead vocal track, and I actually did this while I was recording. So I wanted to have some effects, have some sounds going on during the recording process. So you see, I turned on some of this stuff. Like during the recording, I actually had some compression and some reverb and delay even that I turned off so that I can later fine tune them a little bit more during the mixing stage. But while I was recording, having these effects all in one plugin, literally I only had to load up one plugin in the whole session besides the auto key, just one plugin in the session, and put this on my record track and start recording with flavor. It had reverb, it had delay, it had a chorus effect if I needed it. I even added some tube saturation in here. It actually really helped to bring this mix to life. The key to making sure that this works for you is always going up to this little gear icon in the top right corner and making sure that you choose low latency mode. All right, so that's super key, right? I just turned it off right now, but we just gonna turn that back on. All right, so making sure that low latency mode on is going to make sure that you keep your latency down and that you can use all of these different effects as you are actually recording. For this, I really just am now using it for the retuning, and that's pretty much it, and my tube. So I have these two turned on, and it's really giving my vocal a lot of flavor just coming out the gate. Yeah, let's bypass this actually and listen to just this vocal.
Talk to me nice or don't talk at all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls.
I'm going to turn this tube off, and we're going to hear how much of a difference that made.
Talk to me nice or don't talk at all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls.
Added a lot of saturation to the and presence to the signal, and just made the microphone seem like it was enhanced. They also got the MixNik plugin, which is really dope. I experimented with this too. And you got Auto-Tune Unlimited. Make sure y'all try out MixNik. Do not sleep on MixNik. You can literally open this up and take the source mic that you're using to record and model any other microphone. This works really, really great. So for example, let's say you recording with an Audio Technica AT2020 and you want it to sound like, let's say, a Sony C800, you can actually do that. All right. So MixNik is a dope plugin as well to just get a different flavor. Maybe you like the mic that you have, but you just want to experiment with some different sounds. You can do that pretty easily using the MixNik plugin. So from there, you know, the next logical state of my vocal chain is going to be some type of EQ. So I went to the Auto-Tune Vocal EQ, which I just absolutely love. This is my new favorite EQ. I'm not going to lie. Before, you know, I just love the other EQ that everybody loves, man. And it's a really great EQ, but for the auto-tune package, man, this is literally one of the best EQs in the game, and not just on auto-tune, man. So one of the main features that you will see that this EQ is doing, let's go ahead and play some so you can see all the movement that's happening.
Talk to me nicer, don't talk it all. I just woke up to 60.
It has this tracking feature which can really track the harmonics of the vocal. Instead of just choosing a specific frequency, it'll lock onto that harmonic and literally allow you to just reduce it like a standard EQ or boost it, or you can actually use the dynamic EQ section, which I'm doing a little bit of mixture of both in here. Another dope feature that I really love about this plugin is the tilt feature. The tilt just basically, I felt like this vocal needed to be a little bit brighter, so I tilted it a little bit to reduce some of the low frequencies and give me some more high frequency. So you see how that works really simply. And then they have this air band, another like kind of nod to another really popular plugin that I've used a lot over the years. I don't need to put it on here again. Like, this does a really great job of giving me that same feeling and that same presence of air on the vocal. And then coming up right after that, of course, we need to do some compression. The new auto-tune vocal compressor with the dual stage compression is literally a beast. Let's listen to this mix before and after.
Talk to me nicer, don't talk it all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
So with a combination of these two compression styles, I'm now faced with a more direct and a more punchy vocal, which for this style of song I want. I want that vocal to be up in your face and very punchy. They even have a assistant on this joint, which is pretty dope, that will allow you to basically get some AI type of compression. It'll analyze the vocal that you're working with and then offer what they think is the best compression style to go with on both channels of this compressor here, which is dope. Dual stage compression. You can even do some parallel compression if you choose to mess with this mix knob between the dry and the wet signal. And then I felt like the vocal needed a little bit more tweaking with the EQ, so I added another auto-tune vocal EQ just to do a few things. Added a little air on my air band. I found a little resonant frequency here that I wanted to cut out around 3,000 hertz there. Another little frequency I wanted to dip out in mud at about 150. Now, this plugin right here is a little gem here. I'm going to play this. Let me play this in conjunction with the beat real quick, and I'm going to bypass this. But this is called the Punch. Now, this say it's a vocal impact enhancer, but I have also, you might have seen in some of my past videos, I've actually used this on 2-track beats. I've used it on instruments, anything that I just want to have a little bit more oomph in the mix. This really helps to get that and bring that chest out of the mix, out of whatever signal that you put it on in the mix, I should say. Let's listen to this before and after. So right now, this plugin is bypassed. I'm going to bring it in just 1 second.
Talk to me nicer, don't talk it all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. Talk to me nicer, don't talk it all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't.
All right, so you see that this punch really helped to bring that vocal to life. And then I'm just adding some other effects on here like reverb, chorus, and delay, which I'm all using the Auto-Tune EFX plugin. I got the mix turned up to 100% on all of these. So this was my delay plugin here. You see I'm using the echo. You set the parameters over here to the right side where I'm using a 22 on the feedback, quarter note delay, and I got a chorus plugin that I'm using that's simply just using the chorus module inside of the EFX Plus, and I'm using reverb here too, where I'm just using a reverb module. I had tried the chorus on there, didn't like it, so I just turned it off. I love that you can add these. You can even swap positions based on the order that you want them to be processed. And yeah, so I'm using my reverb straight through here as well, and it makes this lead vocal start to sound like this.
Talk to me nicer, don't talk it all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
All right. Now I started really having some fun when it came to the ad libs. The ad libs, I kept it real simple here because I didn't need to do too much. The plugin that I chose was the Auto Tune EFX, and I literally just hit like one of these buttons up here, and I was just randomizing. I think I was just hitting this random button and just making random selections. Oh no! See, I didn't lost my I done lost my setting, but it's all good because I'm gonna just actually cycle through these and see which of these default settings I like for these ad libs. It's really that easy.
Talk to me nice or don't talk it off. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
All right, I like that. Ad libs wetty. That sounds tight. Let's hear that again.
Talk to me nice or don't talk it off. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
Oh, I kind of like that. All right, that's gonna be the one I go with. All right, let's go with that. Yeah, and then I could go in and even though I started with this preset, I can adjust any other modules, add stuff, just use that as a starting point if I want to, but really get creative if I need to.
Talk to me nice or don't talk it off. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
I like that. I like that. All right, so moving on, I got a B section to the hook. Let's just bring on these back. I got a B section to the hook, and that B section, I started off just duplicating a lot of the same processes that I use for the lead vocal. That's where it started at. You can see I just copied it down. But a couple of things that I did change. Well, one thing I changed for sure was I added the AVOX Duo. This is one of my favorite plugins of all time now. Super easy doubler. I just wanted this section where I started to sing a little more to be a little more wider and have a double fill without me actually having to do the doubles. This plugin does it. I didn't change any settings on here. I literally loaded it up and made it sound like this. So we went from that to that, and I think that's really, really dope. I love how that turned out. And then for this last track, I actually wanted to go with some really dope extreme effects. And of course, I started off with the Auto-Tune EFX Plus. I found this voice guitar preset, and I just went from there. Found that preset. I was like, yo, this actually sounds really good. Let's move on from there and start to build whatever we're going to do from there. So I think I tweaked a couple of these things, but just alone, let's just hear this. It sounded really good. So I like that crunchiness. I like the chorus effect in there. Everything that was happening, I feel like it would be a great layer to layer up. So I just copied a part of that singing section down again, and then I just treated it a little bit differently to give some variation. Let's hear it all together.
Talk to me nice or don't talk it off. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off. Cut them off, cut them off, cut them off, cut them off, cut them off. Cut them off, cut them off, cut them off. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
And this is not a boring mix at all. Like, everything is exciting. Stuff keeps changing, all these different effects, and they're really easy. A lot of them are just presets that I'm using from the Auto-Tune EFX Plus plugin, which is super, super dope. The only other plugin that I used in this session that wasn't a stock plugin that wasn't an Auto-Tune plugin, but it is stock to Pro Tools. It's just my Maxim limiter. Auto-Tune. We need a limiter. That's the only thing that we missing, I feel like, is a limiter on this thing. I just used it twice and just hit it a little bit on each one, and that's really it, y'all. So Let me know in the comments, was this a win or a fail, man? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What y'all think about this mix using only auto-tune plugins? Do you think you can mix a song using only auto-tune plugins? I want to know. Right down in the comments. Let me know. Let's hear this thing one more time.
To me nice, or don't talk it all. I just woke up to 60 missed calls. I don't have the time to go through them all. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off. Cut them off, 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 cut them off. If they ain't cut the check, I just cut them off.
Cut them off. Be dope, y'all.